Hey guys, Majin Obama here, and today I want to talk a little bit about, I've been feeling a particular way lately because fighting game community, the C is supposed to stand for community, but these days I feel like more and more I feel like it stands for consumer. Bro, we are stuck in a loop and we just keep going back to, it's the same thing every time. I understand my opinion on this and my perspective is going to be very like old head coded. It's probably not going to be popular, but I just got to say it, man. I am over the season pass format. Traditionally, you have to understand with fighting games, the way it used to work was whenever the publishers and developers would have a new version of the game that would include a patch, it would include new characters usually, that was the expectation, right out the box, right? And so you'd have to rebuy the game, usually at a lower price than the original purchase. And of course, fewer and fewer people would rebuy over time. But I'll tell you, compared to the format that we have now, this like hybrid early access games as a service, free to play, weirdly like free to play. I don't even know what it is now. And a part of this is a microcosm of just like how industries are now, right? Everything is about subscription-based models, drip-fed content. But bro, when it comes to fighting games, I'm over it. The other day on stream, I looked at every fighting game that is on the EVO lineup this year, and we looked at just like the initial jump-in cost, right? To get updated with the most current version of the game with all of the characters, right? And really the end cost comes to about $68, right? Now here's the thing, when I look at a new game, I have a separation that happens in my mind. Like, oh, this is a new fighting game or this is a new game. And my expectations change based on that. But that is a weirdo point on me. That's not how most people operate. Most people operate, you give them $70, they're not gonna say like, oh, this is a fighting game, this is a game. They're just gonna be, they just see games. So when you end up with some of these games at the $70, $80, $90 price point compared to something like being able to get like Elden Ring and Shadow the Erdtree DLC in one package for the same price, if not cheaper, the price point with some of this stuff I think comes into play in a big way that might scare people off. Originally, Street Fighter 2 happens, and they have like Street Fighter 2 World Warrior. Then you have the version upgrades with Champion Edition and etc. Right? That format, and this is continued into the 2000s. It's continued into the 2010s. The most egregious example, I think, being Marvel vs. Capcom 3 and Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. That I think rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, but that was an extenuating circumstance because of the way the license for that agreement for that game worked out. They had to get it out then. But the traditional complaints about this format, re-releasing your game at a cheaper price point and then having the content in the game right then and there. 4 key complaints. Splitting the player base. You're going to have some people on the old version, some people on the new version. The second thing, I don't want to have to rebuy the game. The third point, they only add new characters. Fourth point, which one do I buy? They don't know which one to buy. So this is definitely, you can go case by case with this, but for the first point, splitting the player base, I think that they have enough tools and there are enough creative ways that they could tackle this to where that would not be a huge issue nowadays. This is like, I think the point with the most merit, in my opinion. But I just think that there's probably ways that they can get around this now. Second point, I have to rebuy the game. The reason why I wanted to look up the price point for all of those titles, the modern fighting games and their packages now is, even though those packages are way more robust, right? The net play quality is way higher. Some games, depending on the title, is going to have a lot more content, packed into it. Because of the season pass model, you end up having to spend the same amount of money anyway, in a lot of these cases. So the thing is, you're like, I have to rebuy the game. My point is, you're already rebuying the game, basically. And to be fair, there are a few of these games where like they'll do like year 2, year 3 repackaging, soft repackaging, where they'll have like 2 or 3 seasons worth of character DLC kind of retrofitted into the base cost. But when they do these soft re-releases, like for example, like a Legend Edition or a Deluxe Edition, it doesn't feel impactful. It's not a new SKU. It doesn't get reintroduced into mainstream gaming news outlets or anything like that. It's just another SKU on Steam. The other point, they only added new characters. I don't know why people thought this. A lot of these new version ups had balance patches built into them, and along with the new characters right out the box. The last one, which one do I buy? So obviously this is more targeted towards like French bread titles, Arc System Works titles. They got, you got Blaze Blue Central Fiction, Continuum Shift, Chrono Phantasma. Which one do I get? Here's the thing, bro. Use Google, bro. Look at YouTube. It's so obvious, and to be fair, I think nowadays there's probably something Steam could do to make this more obvious. There are ways I think that they could problem solve for this. But bro, in the end, here's what I come down to. They want to focus on this drip-fed subscription base. That's just the way commerce is now, and the packages are much better, but to be honest with you, man, the season pass format for fighting games, the greatest offense to me is it's not hype anymore, man. It's not hype. I know I sound old. I'm complaining about like an obsolete format. I would rather rebuy the game at a slightly cheaper price point with 2 or 3 characters right out the box than do this season pass dance every year. I don't feel like a player. I feel like a consumer. I feel like in the end, I boot up my fighting game and I end up looking towards new content for that game the same way I was looking forward to X-Men 97 Season 2. And I don't like that. I don't like that feeling at all. I miss when a Rev 1 drops. You go buy the game and you know right out the bat, boom, they had these characters right from jump. New balance patch, new music, all that stuff. I miss that. I missed the feeling that came with that. The anticipation building towards that. Now it's just like, oh, they're going to have another season. Okay, let's watch. Cool, here's the patch notes drop. Wait some time. Now the new character drop. Now we're in the new character cycle. Is this character broken? No? Okay, how strong are they? Are they meta defining? No, who cares? Next. I anticipate next character. What happened? Bro, the greatest offense to me is it's boring. It's so predictable now. I would rather them try to find some kind of hybrid model to where, like, maybe you soft relaunch the game. This gets mainstream outlets talking about it again in some way, but being able to kind of reimagine the package through that. I just think the season pass model is just not hype anymore. I think it as an experiment, like, I get it. It's not that hype. And I get that cost to publishers, it's probably cheaper in the end to do it this way. But I'm just saying, like, man, I can't get hyped to this shit. It's really hard to get hyped to in this way, in my opinion. And the other thing too is the elephant in the background is, okay, well, what about free to play? To me, I don't think that a free to play fighting game in that way can't work. I think it could, but I think where we are now, it won't. You're not going to get better chances than what you had with Multiverses and Warner Brothers. You're not going to get a better chance than what you had with Riot and Project L. I don't know who comes along, what company would you want to come along and have the kind of investments in that format and in that kind of idea that you had with these games as case studies. And when I think about like just where we are in terms of like the hype cycle and how it ends up playing out every time, bro, I want them to do an inspired repackaging of the games. Like I said, Grand Blue Fantasy versus Rising probably comes the closest to what I'm talking about. But even then, I think aside from the mechanics issues that game has with its relaunch, I think overall it came out like relatively positive, right? Anyway, am I just an old guy shouting at the stars, or do y'all feel me on this? Let me know what you guys think. Am I old, or are y'all still about this? Real quick too, I gotta give again. I'm gonna take any moment you give me. I'm gonna do it. I don't care. I don't care what y'all got to say. Special shout outs to, again, Type Lumina, bro. Y'all do y'all's best to ignore this game. If you're going to speak on the genre and if you're going to speak on the industry, if you're going to focus on the top games that do this kind of stuff, you got to focus on the games that do it right too, man. When it goes on sale, you can get it for under $20, has all of its DLC is free. That's all I got to say. But I'm going to catch y'all next time.